Hey y'all, I hope y'all are doing well. I'm walking in my neighborhood, it's so hot. Anyways, so as I walked, I was thinking that sometimes we see what we say come to pass, and we're like, dang, I spoke that, I said that, and that actually happened. And the thing that we seen come to pass actually wasn't good, but we spoke it, and so sometimes we can feel like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. But what we have to believe and understand is this. Proverbs 18:21 tells us that life and death is in the power of our tongues, and those who love it shall eat the fruit thereof and eat the consequences of those words that we speak. And so, when we come into alignment with the plans of the enemy, so when we're speaking something negative over our situation or someone else's situation or even our children or anything like that, when we come into alignment with what the enemy wants to do, because God will sometimes show us what the enemy wants to do, but it's not so that we can come into agreement with it, but so that we can fight against it. Spiritual warfare, because God has given us power and authority. But when we come into alignment with that stuff, the enemy is going to make sure that that stuff come to pass. Because instead of us praying for the situation, interceding, warring against it, we coming into agreement with it. So I'm reminded myself of things that I've said and things that I've come into agreement that I didn't want to see, but I was shown that it would happen, but I didn't pray against it. So my thing is for you to, when God reveals something to you, or when you feel a situation is going to be a certain way, don't see it as, oh, I know that's going to happen. Pray against that happening, because God has given us a glimpse of what the enemy wants to do, the enemy's plans. But if we come into agreement with what God has showed us what the enemy wants to do, we're going to see exactly what the enemy, we're going to see it manifest in the natural. So God is showing us what the enemy is doing in the spiritual, but we are speaking it into the natural. We're bringing the negativity. We're bringing that thing that God is showing us that we need to war against. We're bringing it into the natural by speaking it. Oh, this is going to happen to them. This is going to happen to them. Instead of coming against the enemy and understanding that God is giving me a glimpse of what the enemy wants to do. This is where we have to mature and understand that God has given us spiritual insight. And instead of us coming into agreement because we have had a glimpse or because we've had an unction that this is going to happen, we have to fight against it in spiritual warfare. So I just want to encourage you all, as I encourage myself, to use your words to fight against the enemy, not to come into agreement and alignment with the enemy's plans, but to fight against him, to have spiritual warfare and ask God how he wants to do that. And you all have a blessed day.